Hi, Camp Can Do campers. I am so glad you're here today. I know we can't be together physically at camp at beautiful Gretna Glen, but we can do this on camera, and we got some great, cool projects to show you today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Renee Sparks. Most everybody calls me Miss Renee. This is my 18th year that I've been privileged to be a part of Camp Can Do, and I have really just enjoyed being a part of it, the small part of it, all these years. It's just been great. So for today, the first project we're going to do is a faux campfire with this tissue paper. I'm going to have to ask you to use your imagination a little bit. One of our favorite parts of camp is the campfire. Everybody loves it when we get to go down to the water and make s'mores and be together and sing. And so since we can't have a real campfire, we thought we would do a little faux one here. It's got a little tea light in the bottom of it. You can use it for a night light. You can just use it to pretend that you're at Camp Can Do. So the first thing you're going to do is you've got a project bag that has all of the supplies that you need in it. I've laid out everything here that you're going to need. You're going to need a pencil, some scissors. We've got a pattern in there. I've got 3 tea lights out here to show you what it's going to look like when you paint it. You've got some paint pot strips. You've got some tissue paper and a paintbrush and a paper towel, and you need a cup of water. As you can see, I've got my favorite coffee mug here. This glitter is my favorite color, and this is so that I can put my glue upside down and I don't have to shake it every time. Now I've got a larger bottle of glue than you have. I didn't have one of the small bottles that you got in your project bag, but it's the same kind of glue, so it'll work just as good. Well, you can also see that I've got my table covered here. You're going to need to put something down on whatever table that you're going to be using, so you don't want to get paint on your mom's table. You have a project bag, you can cut that apart, which is what I did, or you can use a plastic grocery bag and you can cut that apart, lay that down, or if you don't have one of those, you might use a brown paper bag that I cut the bottom out of, and you can lay that down. But you always want to make sure that you've got your surface covered on all the projects we're going to do here on Virtual Camp Can Do. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your tea light, and it looks like this. It has an on-off button on the bottom, and it'll have a tab that you can pull out that will activate it to make the magnet work. You've got your paint pot strips here. They have a little clip right here. You push it up and down, and that opens it. And when you close it, you want to make sure that you hear it click. It clicks just like you would click like a Tupperware lid or something. So I've got my paint pot strip here. It's being a little aggravating. You want to make sure you get your brush, dip it in water first, and then tap it on your paper towel. The other thing I want you to remember is every time you use your paint in your paintbrush, you want to make sure when you're finished, you put your brush in water. If the paint dries in the bristles, it's really, really hard to get out, and you really can't do it without like some paint thinner or something. So make sure you take care of your brush because you're going to be using it for other projects while we're here. So I'm going to dip in a little bit of this paint, and you're just going to paint this whole thing. Make sure you don't paint the flame. You just want to paint the white part. And so you would get a whole coat of that. This is what it looks like when you've got one coat on it. If you want to leave it that way, that's pretty fine. I mean, that's okay. But if you want to put another coat on it, it will get it all covered completely like that. So this is what it looks like when it's completely finished. I've got the tab right here, and I'll show you in a little bit how we're going to put it into the tissue paper. The next thing you want to do is you've got a pattern here that we put in your project bag, and you're going to want to cut that out with the scissors. And you will have, when you finish, you will have a circle just like this. You also have a brown piece of paper. Now, I gotta get you to use your imagination. I didn't have a piece of dark brown construction paper, and because of the virus, I haven't been really going out and shopping or anything. So all I had was this piece of brown paper. So you just use your imagination, and you will have a piece of paper that's darker than what I've got. So I put it down on this brown piece of paper, and you trace around it with your pencil, and you will get a pattern like that. And then again, you cut that out. And when you get finished, you will have a circle just like this. This is going to be the base for your campfire. So you're going to put that down, and then you're going to go to your tissue. You have 3 sheets of tissue paper, orange, red, and yellow. This is what I had left. You're going to cut some strips. I had to use some rocks because we're outside. So you're going to cut some strips like this, and then you're going to cut those strips. You can measure it if you want to, but you can also just eyeball it. And you're just going to cut some squares like this. You'll have more than you need, so you can use these for other projects. So I've got 2 of each color of these cut out. I have 2 orange, 2 red, and 2 yellow. We're going to start with the red, and then we're going to put it down here with the glue. So you're going to put a dot in the center. I think we're going to have to cut. I didn't get my glue. So we've got our base, we've got our dried LED tea light. You're going to take the squares that you cut, put the tea light in the middle, and pull these up around it. This is going to go ahead and get it ready for you to put onto the base. And then we can open it back up a little bit. And then we're going to glue these one at a time. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to use just a little bit of glue on the bottom like that. So I've got that much glue. Then I'm going to put the red square down, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it a little bit so that the points go a different way. I'm going to put another little dot of glue, turn the points, then I'm going to use the orange, another thing of glue, and I'm going to turn these points a different way. And that way it will be not just all, one big square. It'll look like flames coming out of the fire. I'm going to continue on, a little bit more glue, turn the point, more glue for the yellow, and turn the point. Then one more dot of glue, and turn the point. Then I can pull this up, put my tea light back in there, and I'll show you how to turn that on in just a minute. Now you're going to have to play with this a little bit to get it to stay like you want it. If you do decide that you need to, you can go down in here and put just a little bit of glue and then pull that up, and that works too. Now we've got the rocks around the bottom. Again, your rocks are going to be, my rocks are going to be a different color than your rocks because you've got a darker brown piece of paper. If you have access to real rocks, like I've got a couple of little rocks here, you can glue those around the bottom, or you could glue some sticks so it would look like sticks in the campfire. But what I did was I took part of my brown paper and I cut little squares like this, and then I just wadded them up like this, and then open them back up a little bit. Just put a little bit of glue on the back of them, and then just glue them down at your base like this. And I went all the way around, so you should, I think I had maybe 11 or 12. So you just glue those all the way around the base, and that looks like your rocks at the bottom of the campfire. To turn this on, there's a tab right here. Of course, I got paint on the bottom a little bit, but it didn't matter. So you pull this tab out, and that activates the magnet. And then there's an on-off switch, and it will turn on. Of course, there you go. So you turn it on like that, and then you put it back down in your light, and you have a faux campfire. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you for the next project.